Welcome back, gamers, to the HCS 4K. We have Native Red versus Mags up next up on the stream. Native Red previously looking like they had the potential to take down FaZe Clan. On the other side, Kratos and Elam Ace, two open bracket players that have been in the HCS for a long time. These are two pros, Garrett, that we do not expect to see in the open bracket, but they come out the open bracket to qualify for the 4K today and find themselves here in this matchup against Native Red.
See how Av is like drag racing on the map right now. He's flying across, and I feel like this is going to be the real first test for this Native Red roster to really get a gauge of, are they in a slump? Are they just playing close games? Like, well, what's going on with this Native Red roster? Because we thought, hey, they won the HCS Pro week one. We thought everything was going good, and then the last couple weeks have been really rocky. And now this is versus a team that they're supposed to theoretically 3-0. You know, this Mags Up team is great, but this is supposed to be a 3-0 for a team like Native Red. Are they going to be able to play a clean game and win a clean series? Or is the team of Kratos, Av, Diagram, and Ace a little bit trickier than people anticipate? I think that's a real possibility. I mean, whenever it's Kratos and Ace, I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah, when you look at the levels, when you look at the tiers to the HCS, this is a matchup for Native Red that they should 3-0 sweep. Playing against an open bracket team in Mags Up. But again, it's that sort of a dichotomy between, yeah, Mags Up, they're an open bracket team, but then you look at the roster and you're going, oh my God, a lot of legends, a lot of veterans. Elam Ace, the world champion in that Halo 4 1v1. So Native Red, they're going to have their hands full here as they have a lead 43-23, but B switching back over to Mags Up as they start the scoring. But no, it's Native Red on A, making sure they get that timely flip as Ace on the other side of the map finds himself a timely double kill as he looks to flip C.
The really smart play by Ace and to ensure that he has the help for his team. He could have just grabbed C as the other team was grabbing A. Instead, he comes back. He looks for the help for his team. It gets them that double kill. And although they're not scoring at the moment, they're keeping the slays about even. And as long as they're keeping the slays even, they're going to have a chance to eventually find the spot that they want. Oh, man. I think May got bailed out by those extra couple shields right there. Ace almost put him on a poster.
You talked about the slays, and just in that moment, Garrett, you had all four go down for Mags Up. All of that overshield go up for Native Red, and it leads to a trip cap for them. Mags Up now looking to regain control of C, but they go down right at the 80% or so mark, and that's going to continue the scoring by a 2 point per second mark. A clutch 2 down there for Native Red, but 2 down for Mags Up as well. They need that kill there at the pillars, but instead it's Soul Snipe maintaining this dominant start here for Native Red.
Yeah, Mags Up is doing a great job at getting each other's help and getting kills. The problem is I think they're taking their slays at the wrong spots, right?
Yep.
You're in a trip cap and you're trying to get B, which is in an open field that's like the most baitable hill. It allows Native Red to fly back, get these kills, and now you're seeing one of the most dominant trip cap holds you could possibly have. And well, you have a sniper and Druck that's ripping heads. Diagram, you're not safe. 2 players hunting him down. They are finally able to capture A, but they don't really have any momentum to move on the map as of yet. Finally getting the slays that they need, but it's Talik. He is incredible, and he will consistently find big kills when they're needed.
It is not often that you see a minute straight of uncontested trip cap. That's why we have this 166-24 game, because Native Red were not letting go of the trip cap. And you pointed it out, Garrett. It was the push for B when really, I think when you're up against a trip cap, it's best to go for those tertiary elbow plays for A and C and then push out towards the mid map control to gain back the mid map control and then scoring for your team with the recapture of B. Here we see the process a little misplaced here for Mags Up as they now have their first overshield to work with. A chance now to regain and flip C. They have half of it. Half shields though for Kratos as he gets that overshield negated. Strong snipe tower control for Native Red as that will take down the overshield, but despite that, Mags Up do a great job earning themselves C and the trip cap on B. Starting to see a little bounce back.
Yeah, they're fighting back. This trip cap is what they need, but they're not going to be able to contest A right away. So Native Red are going to have a chance to break through. It's going to come down to these slays. In particular, it's going to be down to Diagram to go big at the back of B. He has a one-on-one against the Slayer Talik, and eventually the help comes through. Manny hits the flank, and now it's a complete reversal of the situation. It's a trip cap in favor of Native Red, and you know Native Red's not going to stop. they are going to hunt you down. Trip cap in effect, and I think Soul Snipe's trying to make a miracle happen over at C. He's taking on the 1v2. He wins it, man. He gets the help. This is the trip cap. This is the difference, right? Native Red, they get the trip cap. It's suffocating. They can't, Mags Up can't move. On the other hand, Native Red, they broke out of a trip cap like it was nothing.
Kratos, on the other end, top 10 in every statistical category. Did you know that, Garrett? 10 kills here, leads his team, but it's not even close to enough as Talik pushes in towards the backside of A, has help at A as well. So this is going to be a strong push out to B. It's the only thing that Mags Up even has any contention on. Now they have a little bit of C action here. It's going to force Talik down the tunnels, back towards the cut side, the dummy side. He has the flank. The players for Mags Up don't suspect it. Talik with a free flank and the distraction there from his teammate. Perfect bait and switch. 3 go down, though, for Native Red. So despite that nice push on the dummy side, it's Mags Up with the potential to trip cap again, but back against the wall. 243 for Native Red. Mags Up gonna have to play perfect Halo if they want to come back in this one.
Yeah, I don't know if Mags Up necessarily had enough time to facilitate this push for Overshield. We'll have to see if it works out. Diagrams in, ready to take the fight. His Overshield is drained, and Soul Snipe wins the fight, and you can see it just was not enough, and really it came down to that trip cap hold.
Yes.
And when we saw the push towards B, and once they lost that, it was over. It was one of the best trip caps you can possibly have on live fire. They completely took over the game.
Devastating stretch run for Mags Up. Garrett, it was 40-20 when that trip cap went down, and then 60 seconds straight. I believe it was then 160-40. And at that point, I know on strongholds you're always in it, right? There's always a chance to come back. It could be 249-50. We've seen teams come back, but for this Mags Up roster, I just don't know if they have the facilities to compete against this Native Red roster. Native Red making it look seemingly so with a dominant, nearly 200-point difference in game one. That is a hot start for Native Red, and I don't know, that FaZe roster, that FaZe series, I'm still so confused. I don't know what Native Red we have right now. I don't know if we have the third place world championship Native Red. I don't know if we have a open series winning Native Red like we saw a couple weeks ago, or is it the Native Red that we saw last week get top 12, I believe, losing to Shopify Rebellion early in the tournament. I feel like we're still seeing a little bit of both of those teams in the in-between. What's your take on that, Garrett? What Native Red roster do we have in front of us right now?
I think today this Native Red roster is a Native Red of old. I think this is what we've been waiting for, this team to be back in full swing, and they just had a dominant performance, and I think they're going to continue on those trends throughout this tournament. I think they've been frustrated with themselves, and I think that's what's so commendable about this roster, is that they've stuck with each other through thick and thin. The longest standing roster in the HCS that hasn't made a change, and it pays dividends when you go into these downward trends and you're thinking down on yourself. They stick through it. They work with each other. They understand each other's nuances. They know that they can grow and become better, and that they'll come out a better team because of it. I think we're starting to see that happen once again. We're getting back to that world, that top 3 worlds placing Native Red that we saw before.
And if you're new to Halo Infinite, you're looking for a team to be a fan of, I like this Native Red roster from a fan's perspective because, Garrett, have you ever bought the jersey of your favorite player in sports and then they get traded right after, or they leave the team? This is a Native Red roster that I would foresee sticking it all the way through this HCS season 2.
They outlive their teams. You know what I'm saying? You're not necessarily concerned about the player going somewhere, and sometimes it might be the team goes somewhere.
Yeah.
When it comes to this Native Red roster, they're going to stick with each other, and these Rockets, it gets one, but gets damage on the second. Soul Snipe's there to clean it all up. You see it's a little bit mixy on the start, and really it's going to come down to if Soul Snipe can stay alive and wait for his team to come back and help him. They're flying across the map together. Soul Snipe! Oh no! It's a murder! It's a murder at the back of PD!
Oh, one of the filthiest plays you'll see inside the Shroud screen. Oh my God, you cannot run into the Shroud screen, Ace, like you're on a jog to a yoga session in the park. Unbelievable lack of awareness there. Takes him down, leads to 2 down. And now Native Red up 4, looking to maintain this lead.
Soul Snipe gets the trades, and you're gonna see it's a split on the map. Mags Up have the numbers advantage, but oh, what are you doing, Drunk? He just doesn't care. He's flying through to the back of base.
Ace now looking to take back that high ground and take back that Slay. that he went down on the opposite side of the map. Good regain here from Ace, and it trickles down to the team as they have regained, now down only 2. Ace looking to push up, has Soul Snipe, full attention on the benches. Great job, great awareness there in that case. And now Ace has a Shroud screen to work with instead. So starting to see a little bit of this game flip on its head as Mag's up, only down 1.
Starting to see the push over from Native Red to get towards this cafe side, but they just don't have the numbers to push up. Finally, with the 4 BRs up, but Ace has the perfect tool to get Talik out of that cafe, and now the Shroud screen to try to keep him alive. The problem is his team's going down. The Shadow Realm not going to be enough for him. Rockets are up, and Native Red have basically broken through with little resistance, and now these Rockets going to pave the way for them to continue on their rampage.
And if you're the lower seeded team, Garrett, you gotta win game 2, right? And you gotta control the sandbox. Those Rockets, you cannot let them go into the hands of a player like Talik, because more often than not, turn those 2 in the tube to 2 down in the feed. Now up 3 is Native Red on the back of those Rockets. And Talik, does he have the battle rifle? He doesn't have the battle rifle shots, but more importantly, he has the help from Soul Snipe, cleaning up that kill with the Disruptor as Native Red look to disrupt these comeback plans from Mags Up.
You can see Mags Up, they're all trapped together. Drunk's on a massive flank. Unfortunately, maybe just a little bit too early. When you see all backs behind you, I think sometimes you can take a little bit more time to finish your push.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes even when you have the backs of an opponent, sometimes waiting to take that first shot, letting the teammate in front of them that already has the attention on that opponent, let them take that first shot. That way you've got the final 2 or 3 shots clean from the backside. Free kills. But nonetheless, Mags Up still doing a great job. This is the scrappy Mags Up roster that we're expecting. This is the anime arc, villain arc that we're looking for out of Kratos and Ace as they've maintained a 1 possession game. But just like that, oh my God, this map just flipped on his head. Native Red up 6.
Av's in trouble, and his teammate's going to spawn there. Now the question is, does Native Red play too fast, right? Sometimes when you have this position, you have a tendency to play in before you get the kills, but Druk gets the first pick, and now the rest of Native Red are ready to pounce. Diagram isn't able to stay alive. The trade comes in. Manny's getting mixy, but just no help to be found. And I think Mags Up able to recover. It could have been worse for them, right? In that position. But so far, it's not looking good. They're still trapped. They're still trying to fight out. And with Rockets coming up, they go 3 down once again. This game is getting out of hand.
Oh, Soul Snipe with the potential to extend it to a 10-kill lead. And they don't even need the Rockets to do that. Just the distraction alone, the split spawn, Druk finds 2. Soul Snipe finds 1. And with that killing spree, has Mags Up's back against the wall. They're going to need a miraculous effort to come back in this one. Down 13 at the 35 mark.
Soulsipe finally taken down. I mean, look at Soulsipe and Druk. They're combining for 26 kills just between the 2 of them. Manny's been chilling out. He's like, hey, you guys go slay. I'm doing my thing. You know, I'll get your assists. But so far, nothing has been able to stop the duo of Druk and Soulsnipe. They have eviscerated Mags Up, and they're continuing on their rampage. Kratos trying his best to survive. Ace is trying to body block. Look at all 4 of them trying to get to his help. But unfortunately, the more players that come through, it's just the more potential for slays. But numbers win out, and finally able to give themselves some breathing room. Mags Up have the chance to start making up some much needed rounds.
And just to show you how dominant the performance is here from Native Red, if Soul Snipe and Druk dropped into a 2v4 on streets, they'd be in the lead, 29-28. Unbelievable performance here from Soul Snipe and Druk. And you said earlier, you got to credit Manny and Talik switching their reversal role. You expect those guys to be the ones popping up, maybe that main Slayer role, but Talik and Manny recognize, you know what, maybe this is the game for Soul Snipe and Druk. Instead, we're going to support 9 and 11 assists respectively for Talik and Manny. This is domination from Native Red.
Talik able to find the trade outs, and this is a tough spot for Mags Up because you just can't afford trades. Right, you're out of time. It has to come down to clean wipes, and it's just so hard when the other team is not necessarily playing to wipe you off the map. They're playing just to make sure that they take you down with them. Native Red, they're doing their victory lap. They're looking for the final touches on this game as Druk picks one up. Look at him cross-mapping Kratos with an AR. That's side to side, PD to cafe. It's evisceration on the map.
I have been telling our players to drop the commando for the AR. That's why you see right there the AR from heaven to cafe. full range. Looked like every single one of those sprayed AR shots were connecting from 20, maybe 30, 40 meters away. Unbelievable recognition of the sandbox and the ability of that AR is, yeah, Garrett, with the nerf to the Commando, why pick up the Commando when most maps have an AR instead?
Yeah, the AR is great. And I just want to say that was wonderful performance from Native Red, but I want to give a quick shout out to Via Meta in the chat. If you guys don't know, we popped up a PayPal to help support. He just donated $100 to the PayPal. That means all that money is coming to the production, making sure that we can keep doing what we can do. Twitch takes like half the money, whatever you do. So
70%
if you're thinking about
sometimes.
helping out, the PayPal is always great. We love the support on Twitch. I'm not saying you gotta stop that, but we do have a new way to help support. If you want to just directly donate to us, it's underneath the screen. Go check out the new PayPal link. Every little bit that gets sent there is just reinvested back into us. We want to make sure that we can keep doing what we're doing here, keep bringing this great action, and watch these incredible games that we've seen today.
Oh man, it used to be check your corners or you're checking your pulse. Now you got to check the shrouds. You got to look left, right, up, down, left, right, BAX, BX. But you got to do a cheat code before running into the shroud screen, or you might just end up on the respawn screen instead. As we take a look at some of these highlights, Druck, Soul Snipe popping off that match with 13 and 14 kills in this moment, respectively. We talked about if in a 2v4, they would have been single-handedly, I guess double-handedly, taking down this Mags Up roster that I really expected a lot more from in this series, especially with the likes of Kratos, such a passionate, scrappy player. Where was the fight back in game 2? It was nearly a steak-tacular.
Yeah, and I always felt like Mags Up in the beginning of that game were staying within reach, right? But the problem is they were never taking control. It was always like, oh, we're getting kills that we're not supposed to get while we're getting collapsed on. There was never a moment where Mags Up, we're like, oh, we're in control of the map, let's get ourselves back into the game. And you can only stay within distance for so long. Eventually, a team is just gonna run away. One too many rockets go into the hands of Native Red, and now you have to try to survive on Aquarius Flag Game 3. And with how fast this Native Red roster has been playing, this is a dangerous combination to go into for your potential match point right here. Mags Up needs to figure something out. It has been a blowout in game 1 and 2.
Yeah, Mags Up. They need to get the comms up, the accuracy up, the positioning up, the teamwork up, the logo up. They gotta work on everything at this point, because at this rate, Garrett, based on what we saw in games 1 and 2, this could be a 5-0, which would be unprecedented. Rarely do you see 5-0s in the likes of HCS, but I think it's important that we tee it up because based on the eye test so far, Native Red has looked up to it.
Ace is gonna play right through the middle, and it's gonna buy time for his team to get towards that camouflage. I believe Mags Up should have been able to secure. There we go. Kratos gets it. And great plays from the start, right? Taking advantage of that aggressive play of Native Red. They get them 4 down, and this flag's on its way, and Kratos is ready to take on the entire team. I think maybe could have played a little bit more patiently, but it should be enough for this flag to come home.
Should be enough. And yeah, that's got to be tough there for Mags Up. You do enough to earn the early wipe, earn the early heat wave, earn the early camo, flag out as well, but they aren't able to execute with the efficiency. Now Kratos looking to clear out the generator once again, as he has Manny flying through with confidence and precision, taking down the GOAT Kratos.
This flag is out, and you're going to see the difference between a full setup of Native Red and a full setup of Mags Up. Mags Up weren't able to get those opening picks on the spawn trap. Instead, you see Talik open it up with a double kill. They're taking Mags Up right off the spawn, and Talik, he's not done yet. He's got another player, Diagram, to take care of. Diagram's coming back for seconds. Did he get the stick? No. Diagram plays a little bit too loosely with his life. Talik takes advantage, and you can see just the difference between these two teams and how they ran that flag.
Wow, 1 minute off the clock and one already on the board for Native Red, and another one already at the halfway mark. It's a track meet. It's not CTF. This is a track meet. Druck running through the opposition, likely has 2 on the board. Native Red only needing 2 minutes to put 2 up. And Garrett, it might only be 5-0. It might be a 5-0 after 5 minutes. Unbelievable performance we're seeing here from Native Red as they look to get the return and the flag home as well. What a start for Native Red.
And Kratos is this last stand right now. He's able to get the first, and Manny just wins that fight. Kratos almost was able to stop it and let his team come back, but it's just not enough. And it's the slaying power. It's just overwhelmingly in favor of Native Red right now, and it's because Talik has just lived on an island at the B side. He's been controlling the rest of Mags Up this entire game. They need to find a solution to this man on screen.
Talik quite literally anchoring top mid with the use of that camo, and didn't even need to push up with the camo because you've got the likes of Manny and I think Druck on the other side pinching in. But a great response here from Mags Up, clearing out their base. And the first time we've seen that outside of the first opening break where they got 3-4 down for Native Red, they now have that once again. So now Mags Up contesting mid-map control with Kratos already in the Native Red side of the map, kills kills Manny. Looks like Mags Up should have a flag out, but they need more slays.
Kratos, he's in that same position he was before where he's behind the spawners and he's gonna have to try to get kills, but unfortunately I believe his teammate just was not able to get this flag further away, and that means Kratos has to pick up the slack. He has to go grab that flag and get himself out of that powerful position where he's behind everyone, and it's gonna make everything just so much harder for Mags Up because of that. And you can say they immediately hop on this flag return. They're going to be able to get it through, and they have a flag out of their own. You see Ace and Kratos are in a great position to at least try to contest, but that flag gets around the corner. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and Manny does something there that you rarely see as Native Red puts 3 on the board. Just as it looked like Mags Up was ready to make it a 1 flag game, it's now busted open to a 3 flag game. But going back to Manny, he did something that you rarely see players do, is that pick up the Needler. And I know he didn't put it to use there. I know he went down, but I think for any player running through the map, when you have a secondary option, pick it up, because you can YY, you can cancel, you can switch. You've got just more to work with when you have that secondary. So despite Manny not putting that Needler to use, I still like the play call.
Now, I'm going to be honest, Mikowski, I think probably half the players that play competitive Halo don't even know that there's a Needler on this
More
map.
than half.
I think it's because it's underneath the shock nade, so when you take that route, normally you're going to go through shock nades anyway, so you don't normally are running. And then there's also the wall divots in, so you never like are hugging the wall either. It's just in an awkward spot, and I think a lot of players are like, oh, there's a Needler on the map. I didn't know that.
I mean, not to dive too much into the Needler talk here, but the Needler is a great weapon to use through these doorways right here, the ones that Talik is looking through, because when you have a player that doesn't have strafe or that doesn't have the ability to find cover, those Needlers will heat seek you through any of these doorways and be an excellent weapon choice on this part of the map. Druck now on the Mags Up side of the map has another flag out and has Av potentially getting the return. 2 players spawning in the fridge, looking to find some kills, looking to eat. Out of the spawn, you have Kratos taking down Soul Snipe. A potential double kill has Druck back against the wall, but Druck does a great job letting his shields recover, but he ultimately isn't able to take down Ace. Looks like Mags Up with another chance to get a good run here.
Having Kratos working together in this moment, they need to take Manny out and open up this lane for his team. And I think Kratos was looking for that help from Av, but Av split out and Kratos goes down, and they're back playing defense in their base, but Native Red are gonna be able to push in for free. Av's trying his best to stay alive, but they essentially had to give up that car lane. I want to see Mags Up keep their BRs together and really take on the 1v2s when they can.
This is the moment right here. Down 3-0. On the brink of a potential 3-0 for Native Red. This is it right here. Mags Up. Got to take down Talik. Got to get that opening break kill. But no, Kratos goes down. That's going to force Av into a much more difficult situation as he should go down. Goes down. And now you have Diagram just looking to fight for the scraps of top mid. But to the victor goes the camo. And again, it's Native Red winning that. And look at that. So important to point out here. It was 2-2 in the feed when Native Red grabbed that camo, Garrett. So Native Red, they don't even need the slaying numbers. They don't need the numbers advantage to earn these pivotal sandbox options.
Manny gets caught up out in that jump and, well, spotted with that camouflage. So they're not going to make that much of an impact on the map because of it. And you can see so far Native Red, it doesn't feel like they've really had to entertain a push from Mags Up that's going to result in a flag cap. Right? It feels as if Mags Up has been reactionary throughout this game through and through.
Finishing touches, finishing shots going out for Talik as he has Ace pushing up once again. But Ace does a great job in that close quarter scenario. to take him down, but it goes down immediately afterwards. So Native Red, again, once they lose numbers, they find the trade. They find the positioning. Druck usually clutches up, has one shot. Strong side's out of there, but no, Ab takes him down. Seeing some bounce back here from Mags Up if they can just put it together. They've had a few good pushes into this Native Red side of the map, but they've never materialized.
Soul Snipe gets the kill on Ace, and he's ready to fly through. Manny's shot grenade almost killed Soul Snipe on its way to its location. That's how weak Soul Snipe was, but just gets to that red bar, stays alive, and honestly, it just feels as if Mags Up are just a little bit too separated. There's never two players looking at the same thing, and it's just letting Native Red play a little bit more free than Native Red should be able to play. When you let Native Red push through the lanes for free or not have to worry about team shots, that's when they're at their most dangerous.
Yeah, and look at Native Red dominating this game despite Druck with a -10 performance. Has 10 assists though, but again, it just goes to show, I don't care what the stat sheet says. This Native Red roster is impervious to whatever the stats say. You gotta watch the eye test when you're watching this Native Red roster, because so often the stats may not be in their favor, but the tournament results are.
Great shots by Av, and this game's not over yet. You have 3 minutes. That's more than enough time to get through. With this camouflage, Av is starting to open up the lane. Stalik not able to find that kill in time, and Av is just waiting for his teams to get through. Avenue saying, come here, let's get this flag going. But unfortunately, just no one is there to support him in time, and that camouflage not going to result in a flag grab, and Diagram's going to be taken out as well. So the push from Mags Up stifled before it even begins, and a tough spot because you really felt that with those couple kills with camouflage, something was going to happen.
3 minutes left and a 3-0 deficit here for Mags Up. They're going to need to find an answer and find it right off this spawn as 3 go down for Mags Up once again. Unfortunately, you got this Native Red roster already on the other side of the map, pushing in to those spawns, all spawning in the fridge for Mags Up. There's going to be a tough push off their back foot. Got to take advantage of your numbers here. Got to get 2 in that fight. Av takes down 3 for Native Red. And again, Mags Up. But the problem here, Garrett, they get all those slays on their side of the map. We've seen Mags Up earn team wipes. It's just always been on their side of the map. It's never been with map control. It's never been with control of the Native Red roster. And that's exactly why they haven't been able to find a single score.
And now Diagram, he wins the double kill, but Talik say, hey, come for flag. I'm ready for it. Sit up on a mid. Diagram smart not to push it too fast, and that's going to mean a flag will come out for Mags Up as they start to get slays. 2 minutes on the clock, 3 flag grabs to get home. Can they do it?
Pollock, last player alive. Kratos with camo here. And if he stays alive, this could spur the counter cap. If you have Kratos sneak into the other side while this flag sneaks in for Mags Up, you could potentially counter and get a double cap right away. Kratos, though, spotting Talik, going to take the back of Talik as well. But that flag sitting at the cap mark, Kratos is going to have to work back. And with time of the essence, Garrett, Kratos needed to be on the other side of the map. But now because of this pressure and slays from Manny and the rest of Native Red, Kratos has to go back to score this. Whereas in an opportune or optimal stand situation, he would have already been pulling that second flag. And simply put, that's what Mags Up needs if they're going to come back.
Yeah, Mags Up has to play a clean game throughout the rest of this one. You just don't have the time to facilitate plays that aren't clean, right? It's all about time efficiency. That flag was going to go home, right? But you needed Kratos to be ready for that next play. Instead, he has to play a reactionary style, has to come back. And I think that's just what we've noticed is that Mags Up, it's very reactionary. The slays are there, right? It's not like they're getting eviscerated in the slays. It's just been reactionary Halo thus far, and Native Red's played very strong defense at the back of their base.
I just love looking at win conditions like that for Native Red, where the win condition was them, in a sense, letting that flag go in, but just making sure that it took enough time off the clock. I love looking at win conditions, and when sometimes letting a flag in, sometimes going down in a gunfight is the best, most optimal option so long as your team is playing together. They have the coordination, the communication, and the cohesion. That's exactly what we're seeing here from Native Red.
Yeah, it's like this game's over, and unfortunately for Mags Up, they're gonna fall down 0-3, and this is a tough game to lose just because the slays, like when you look at the stats, right, this is a game that you would imagine would be pretty close. You know, I think it does favor Native Red. But this is a game that hasn't been close at all in reality, and those are the most frustrating games to lose, when it's like we're not getting outslayed like that much. Like we have those opportunities, but it's nothing was happening, right? There was no team cohesion, and I think this is still a new roster. They still need time to play with each other, to get used to each other's quirks. Once that happens, I think this is a roster that could be in that Proton situation where they can upset a lot of teams, but they just need more repetitions. I think Avenue and Diagram are two players that are great to build around. I'm glad that the veterans of Kratos and Ace went and got the 2 of the 3 triplets to play with. I really want to see this team stick it out, because I think there's a lot of potential on this roster. I think these tournaments are important growing experiences, and we will eventually see this roster do some incredible things down the line, make some incredible game 5 situations against top teams where it's a 50-50 on who's going to come out on top.